branch of the military uses AR-15s?
I didn't say that the branch of the military used AR-15s. I said they were weapons of war.
What war did we use them in?
Again, they're just weapons of war.
Kamala Harris?
I think she's got a bright future.
Okay.
I'd like to have her, realistically, I'd like to see some real concrete answers out of her.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything concrete, but I think she has a bright future.
So something that is concrete is that she would like to ban AR-15s with the use of an executive action if Congress didn't pass any type of gun control to do so within the first 100 days of her taking office. Is that something you would support?
Yeah, absolutely, I'd support that.
Why?
Because those are weapons of war, and unless we're trying to overthrow our government, we don't need them.
So which branch of the military uses AR-15s?
I didn't say that the branch of the military used AR-15s. I said they were weapons of war.
What war did we use them in?
Again, they're just weapons of war.
What is a weapon of war? What do you put in that category? How do you name that category?
Well, you know, any kind of weapon that you can use that you don't need to specifically, realistically reload every 6 rounds. Something that you can do mass destruction with. That, you know, honestly, like an AR-15, where you can do mass damage in schools and mass damage to people in any other kind of war.
Can you not do that with, let's say, a handgun, a Glock, a 1911?
You can do any kind of damage with 6 rounds. That's why you only need 6 rounds. Why do you need?
So we only need 6 rounds.
I didn't say we only needed 6 rounds. That's not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth.
Well, that's why I was asking. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. That's why I clarified with you. I'm not saying this guy said this. I'm clarifying, so we're not fake news here.
I didn't say that.
Do you think that there should be only 6 rounds, or what's the limit for you?
I didn't say anything about a limit. All I'm saying is that yeah, specifically.
And this is the problem. This is the problem, because when you say AR-15 should be banned, you are opening a new door of banning civilians' weapons. Because an AR-15 is not an automatic weapon. It's not automatic. So if she were to ban AR-15s or weapons within that category, it opens it up, or it creates a whole new realm of banning guns. Now you do have to ask yourself, okay, what is our limit? If we can ban the AR-15, we can also ban this gun. And since a Glock holds two less bullets than that gun, we can all. Do you see the rabbit hole we're now going down? And these are the type of things that you need to consider. Because what I'm saying right now is not unrealistic. We've seen it happen before. If you say we're going to ban AR-15s, that's not necessarily how it works. What she would say is we're going to ban weapons within this category. Then in a few years, there might be legislation that says we're going to ban weapons in a category slightly below it, because these are also still dangerous. And that's the problem. It would be different to say we're going to ban automatic weapons from being sold publicly or being sold without a license. When you're saying we're going to ban this specific weapon, you are just opening an entire new category of banning weapons. And his belief that, oh, we don't need these guns. Honestly, the reason why it was in the Constitution, the right to bear arms, the reason why this was stated is because you do not know what you will need. This was thought of already by our forefathers. You do not know. But since America is so safe nowadays, it's so calm, we have real rights, we have freedoms, you can't fathom we not needing these type of weapons, because in your life, at least over here in America, you've never had to use these type of weapons. And you just think, well, this is always going to be that way. No, it's not. Also, what about the citizens who already own these weapons? Are you just going to go in their house and take this? This is a constitutional violation. If they say you have the right to bear arms and they bought this arm legally, and then a law comes out and says, oh, you can't own this anymore. What if they say, well, it's my constitutional right to own this? Now it opens up a whole new door. Do you see where I'm getting at? It just never ends. And his belief of this is kind of dangerous to have these type of thoughts.
Because we don't necessarily need anything more than 6 rounds for personal use. If you want to go hunting, go hunting.
Okay.
But, you know, for weapons of war, like an AR-15 or, you know, anything bigger than that, specifically speaking, I don't think you need anything like that for sport.
Okay, what about self-defense?
I mean, don't you think one would do it?
One round?
Bullet? Yeah, don't you think one round would do it?
For self-defense?
Yeah.
You better be a good shot.
Well, okay.
you better be a damn good shot for only one bullet in a gun.
I mean, is more than one person going to rob your house?
Absolutely, that tends to happen, yeah. Getting mugged by gangs even, walking around downtown Cleveland. It's not a very safe area.
Did he just say is more than one person going to rob your house? Let me ask y'all a question. When you look at robberies in the news or you see robberies, how often is it just one person? It's usually around 3 people in black hoodies with ski masks, one run through the front, one run through the back, and one sneaking in the window on the side of the house. Not saying this happens all the time, but you honestly think if we passed a law that says AR-15s are banned, you're not allowed to own weapons of this size that weigh approximately above 4.2 kilograms or whatever the crap, you think a robber is going to give you the courtesy to only have him or her? Do you honestly think that a criminal is going to say, well, it's not fair for 3 of us to run in his house. I'm going to go this time. If he catches me, then one of you can go. You're adding a moral and ethic code to criminals? Come on, man.
I want several rounds in my firearm. So
you think more than one person is going to mug you at any given time?
I think that is a possibility, yes.
Well, so is lightning striking right now, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Okay.
Oh my God.
But we should be prepared. I mean, do you have a fire extinguisher in your home?
Of course.
The likelihood of you causing a fire is very low, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
Okay. But why would you have that? You know, it's not likely that you're going to catch do you know how to use an oven?
Equating trying to put out a fire in my house to somebody breaking in my house and me shooting them is not the same. That's getting too
I think the
close to
policy, the premise is the same, is that
The premise is the same because have you ever had a fire in your house? The answer is probably no. Have you ever used your fire extinguisher? Probably not. But you think that's a justifiable argument. You think that it makes sense for you to have a fire extinguisher in your house, although you've never even had to use one or you've never even had a fire. But if someone says, I have this firearm in my house for protection, you just think that's crazy, right? You don't think it's a possibility that 3 people will run in a nice house. You don't think that's a possibility that two or 3 men will run in a house at 3 o'clock in the morning while your kids are asleep. You don't think that's realistic, do you? But that just shows me that you live in a very safe place. And I mean that not just literally, but I mean that mentally as well. You honestly think America's a great place, but robberies happen every day. People get robbed every day. And you just think that this type of stuff does not happen. I'm here to tell you that it 100% does. People get shot every day, robbed every day. And the reason why this threat is so prominent is because more people do not carry firearms. We don't carry firearms in our day-to-day, and criminals know that. They know you don't have an AR-15 in your car. They know you don't have a pistol in your hip. The average citizen does not. And because of that, they know that you're an easy target. So just imagine if they pass legislation that says we're removing these AR-15s. Do you think criminals are just not going to get their AR-15s? You think they're just going to lose access to weapons now? You think they're robbing houses with legal firearms? Come on, man.
you don't want more than one round in a bullet in a firearm because you don't think the likelihood of more than one person robbing me is, it's not there. You only need one. So what happens when I shoot someone that's trying to me and it misses, and I only had that one chance to prevent myself from being or killed by somebody that is stronger than me, is bigger than me, he's about to hurt me. I only have one round. What if I miss? Am I just out of luck?
You're adding 2 + 2 and getting potato. They're two completely separate issues. Banning AR-15s,
Okay.
although not necessarily the right answer,
Okay.
it's the idea that we don't necessarily need access for everybody to have those things.
Well, we don't have that currently. Not everybody has access to that by the federal government, by state governments. Black market, yes, because gun control has shown not to work. So people do have access to that shouldn't. Do you think it's okay to ban someone else's property with the use of an executive action by the force of the government? Because when they ban that, who's going to come to your door and make sure you don't have those? Government officials, police with guns. Guns that we aren't allowed to have as civilians. How do we give that force and that power to the government to come and do that to us as private citizens? How is that okay? How do you stand for that?
Nobody's specifically saying that anybody's going to come to your house and take guns.
Yes, you are saying that, because if a gun is legal and somebody says this gun is now illegal, How are they going to enforce that? How are you going to take my legal weapon that I purchased legally? You would have to come to my house and take it. Or you think I'm just going to drive and turn it in? That's not going to, let's be real, that's not going to happen. So somebody would have to take their weapon. And the reason why this is an issue is because now we're infringing on constitutional rights. We're infringing on the Constitution at this point. Not only is this, I'll just say this. This just opens up an entire new door. If they were allowed to take away AR-15s or such things like that, it would just never end. Constitutional freedoms would just be taken and taken and taken, and it will never end. This should just be the beginning of it. I know you don't think about it that way, but that's just what will happen if you say, okay, now we can take weapons. Okay, now we can take the freedom of speech away. It would just like, they could just be able to do whatever they want. No, that's not how America works.
That's not what we're after. All we're asking for is safe ownership by professionals or by people who are trained and know how to use these. People that know how to lock them up. Banning them specifically to people like myself, who I have no professional training with firearms. I should not be allowed to own that kind of weapon of war because I don't know how to use it.
You keep saying weapon of war. What standard and what characteristics of a firearm has to be there to be a weapon of war?
Again, weapons that can be used to cause significant amounts of damage in very short amount of time.
So cars.
Again, 2 + 2 is not potato.
Cars kill more people than firearms every year. Are they weapons of war?
I'm
pretty sure people of a certain religion like to run people over with cars.
Listen, you're generalizing people, and that's absolutely incorrect.
You're generalizing gun owners, I would say.
No, I said responsible gun ownership. I said specifically that I shouldn't have. I'm not generalizing anything. You're sitting here.
I'd argue that majority of legal gun owners are responsible. I would argue that. But you are generalizing them. Do you see the problem here? He doesn't think deeply about this. And that's the issue. You just want to give ownership of guns to the government. And that's the problem. But anyways, if you have any suggestions for me, comment down below. That was Jojo.